you're going to learn is not the exact version of cloud computing, but yeah, what to say, a third-party version of cloud computing. So I will explain that the word in a couple of minutes later. But for now, I would like to give you reason why this concept of cloud computing came into reality, because we need to know the reason why this concept has evolved. Then we can understand it in a much better way. So these ideology, I'm going to talk with you for next 1 hour, is going to be forming the base for the cloud computing. And then from that knowledge, we will move on with the as per your syllabus, that is AWS cloud, Amazon Web Services cloud computing, right? So there's a slight variation between a normal cloud computing and AWS cloud. So first we'll understand what is a cloud computing. So in order to realize, or in order to understand the concept of cloud computing, I'm going to take the example of your traditional workspace, traditional office, right? So usually in olden, maybe 10 to 20 to 30 years back, if someone is going to start a office, right, someone is going to start a company, I think this diagram you can map it up, right? Assume this is a office which was traditionally designed. So it will have its own people and some tables which are connected to a backend server, and it will in turn will have database, right? Right. So it will have servers and databases. But if suppose my business grows, this company is expanding, right, I may have to add more IT resources, right? IT resources, like it can be a server, it can be a storage space, or it can be any even network related thing, right? Or previously I might have been doing projects in a specific platform, let's say Windows operating system. But as my business is expanding, I might be venturing into the other operating systems or other platforms, right? So in that case, in addition to the investment which is already made, see here there's I have already, initially when the company is created, the company owner might have invested a certain amount of money on this one, right? As the business was expanding, right, he might have invested even more money to purchase more IT resources that are required for keeping up with the business, right? These things will be more successful as long as the business is going well, right? If suppose due to some occasion the business is not going well, the business is going slightly slow or down, right, then whatever investment the owner has invested on these IT resources will be ideal. These IT resources are not going to provide any money, right? So obviously the money invested on these traditional resources are now at waste, right? So if suppose the business goes down, right, and if suppose he is going to sell these items which he has recently purchased, he may not be able to sell at the same value, same rate which he has purchased, right? He may be selling it to off price or even less than that. So this is the traditional computing, right? So initially I have an office, right, which will have its own dedicated backend, right, data storage space, data servers, everything will be there within my office. So my office work will be, I will be storing all my data and other related works within my the IT resources. So no data from my office will be stored anywhere, right? So yeah, I will lock the room and I will take the key with me. That is how the traditional or the concept called on premises. Everything, every IT resources were within the premises, right? So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you, right? And because of this concept only, as but now when the when the what to say, when the business goes down, right, whatever the IT resources that is being purchased will be ideal and no revenue will be generated out of that. So because of that, the business people, they don't want to rely on the concept of on premises computing. I hope you understand uh, the concept of on premises. In on premises, every resources, IT resources will be within the office, right? If it is if I want to expand, I have to purchase more items. One second. There are people who are still joining, I guess. Yeah, Rajni Muhammad. Okay. See, once I am in full screen mode, I may not be able to see any student who is joining late. So please join earlier next time.
Sir, sorry, sir. I don't have laptop and computer right now. Uh, uh, can I
You may
join the
not,
class?
you can join, but you may not be able to do a hands-on because we cannot do AWS cloud activities in mobile services, mobile
Okay, so
devices.
next class I will be joined with my laptop. So can you allow this class, sir?
That's fine, that's fine, but you stay online, attend the class. Next time
Oh,
you join, connect with the laptop.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right, so as I was saying, the problem of on premises. So because of this problem only, uh, it's like if I follow traditional computing. Oh my God, who is joining again? See, please join on time. I cannot keep on switching my screens. Right. So if I follow traditional on-premises computing, right, what are the problems that I will be? What are the hurdles I have to undergo? If I want to expand, I have to purchase more items, right? If suppose my business goes down, right, I may have to resell these products, which may not be profitable for me. I may have to sell them at a lower cost, right? So because of these issues only, in because of the problem with on-premises computing, we have moved on. The business people, it's actually the subject itself is a more business-oriented subject, where most of the business people will be more attracted towards, right? I will give you a reason now. So since most of the business people were facing problem with on-premises computing, the concept of cloud computing has come up, where the company people, they don't have, the company owners, they don't have to invest large amount of money in purchasing the physical hardware. Here I'm using a word, physical hardware, right? So uh, I can purchase all the IT resources. The cloud computing, the concept of cloud computing provided the IT resources in an online mode, right? It might sound silly, right? But it is the actual truth. Through the concept of cloud computing, we were able to, the company peoples were able to access IT resources in online instead of purchasing the physical devices, keeping them, maintaining them in the premises, right? So the IT people, the owners, went to the next stage, where all the IT resources can be utilized, right? I can utilize as much as I want, and if I don't want, as I was saying, uh, when my business is going high, I can purchase more items in online, and if my business is not going well, right, I can stop my payment. As long as I use the resources in online, I have to pay, and if I don't want to use them, I simply don't have to pay, right? It is a nominal cost than comparing to purchasing the actual physical resources in the on-premises mode. I hope you understand the differentiation what I'm trying to say, right? In on-premises, everything, every IT resources are maintained in physical form. Excuse me. Hello. Yes. Yes. So we'll start. So, but in cloud, I don't have to physically buy any hardwares, right? I simply can utilize. It's like someone who has got all the services, right? We can rent some of the resources from them. By doing so, I don't have to purchase a complete hardware for myself, right? So this is the idea. So I am going to rent my IT resources online from someone. I will give you much examples in a couple of minutes later, but I'm trying to give you a difference between a normal computing, sorry, an on-premises computing and a cloud computing. So here you can see in this diagram, here this is my office, right? Where all my IT resources, I'm just using the internet connection to connect with some the service providers, right? Some service providers. I'll give you in a couple of minutes later. So through this service provider, I'm going to get all my IT resources on a rental basis, right? Uh, uh, Pay as I use, right? How much I use, I'll pay accordingly. If I don't want to use, I don't have to pay, right? So in this way, in this manner, if I use cloud computing, it is more profitable for the business people, right? Let us assume if some startup person is going to if some person is going to start up a company, right? You don't have to invest much on you don't have to spend much of the money on on purchasing physical hardwares, right? Which is the problem of on premises. And similarly, if suppose he want to, after some time he finds the business is not profitable and he wants to shut down this company, he can simply stop paying the money to the cloud services, right? He may have purchased these tables, computers like that, tables, chairs, and something like that. But for the IT resources, for servers, right, softwares, license, right, storage spaces, right? If some company is going to store the data as well, they may be using TBs and GBs, TBs, more TBs of data, which will come to waste when the company is going to be closed. So the concept of cloud is as evolved to ease the problem faced by the business people, right? It's like they don't have to purchase a physical hardware or software or, or any IT resources, right? They simply can rent them through online. Now you can ask me, sir, in the who's this service provider, sir? Now comes the big picture, right? I'm going to give you some examples such that you can map it up, right? Let me, I'll just move on with the next slide. So from based on our discussion so far, before I give further explanation, uh, based on the discussion that we had so far, right? What do you think is more profitable? Which computation is more profitable? Running a on-premises business or running a cloud-based business? Can anyone answer? Hello, I hope students are there. See, in on premises, the owner company person has to invest lot of money he has to maintain, right? Everything has to be done, right? Whereas in case of cloud services, he simply don't have to buy anything. He simply, for example, uh, um, many startup companies, right? They don't have data centers or big servers, right? Storage spaces. They simply use one laptop and an internet connection. Most of the IT companies these days, they just provide a laptop and internet connection for their employees. So this ideology has also improved the concept of work from home. For office people, they don't have to be staying in the premises, because everything is loaded in, all the IT resources are available in cloud, so they are able to work from anywhere. So this reduces the overall cost of the running a business, right? So obviously, because of all these reasons, cloud running a business on a cloud is more profitable than running a business on premises, right? I will give you justifications, right? So here I'll just maximize full screen, right? So here these are the problems which I will face if I run a business on premises, right? So here, this is my building where all my IT resources are located in the same building, right? உங்களுடைய சர்வர்ஸாக இருக்கட்டும், உங்களுடைய சாஃப்ட்வேர்ஸாக இருக்கட்டும், எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் all IT resources, right, will be within the same building. So if initial for when I am going to establish a company, I have to make higher payment, because I need to purchase the physical hardware. So initially the company owner has to make big investment, right? And if you think after 10 years that investment may not be sufficient, you may have to invest more because of the problem of scalability. If my business is expanding, then the initial investment which I have made may not be sufficient. And also the next problem, so every time I expand my business, I have to pay more in on premises. And since I am purchasing more equipments, more hardwares, IT resources, it will consume some space in my office, right? இப்போ நீங்க ஒரு காலேஜ்லாம் எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்க, ட்ரெடிஷ்னலாக ஒரு காலேஜ் எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னாவே ஒரு லேப்னு இருக்குன்னா அந்த லேபுக்குன்னு ஒரு சர்வர் ரூம்னு ஒன்று இருக்கும். அந்த அந்த சர்வர் ரூம் வந்து வெறும் கம்ப்யூட்டர்ஸ் மட்டும்தான் இருக்கும். நோ ஒன், அந்த ஸ்பேஸ் வந்து எதுக்குமே யூஸ் ஆகாது, ரைட்? So this is the problem. So the office environment space is being utilized for maintaining for preserving the servers, hub rack எல்லாமே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த ஸ்பேஸ் யூட்டிலைசேஷன் ஒரு ப்ராப்ளம் வரும் ஆன் ப்ரெமிசஸ்ல. And again, I have to appoint a team for maintaining the hardware. ஏன்னா if I'm having a server, it needs to be connected to a UPS. If I am maintaining a UPS, I have to use battery connections, and every time the battery connection to it needs to be properly watered, or else the battery will dry and it will no longer be usable. So for these purposes, I may have to appoint a maintenance team. So all these problems will be there. And even after doing all these things, data security, right, it is no longer protected, because we are appointing some third person as our admin. Or admin என்றவர், it's not from my blood relation, or is not a duplicate copy of me. It's some third person I'm appointing as admin, right? So it is not guaranteed that you will always be protecting the data. You may be stealing some of the data as well. No one knows, right? So for that, on premises computing is always provides poor data security. And the last one, less chance of data recovery. This is very, very important, because most of the IT companies, I think it is clearly evident during the time of Varda, Varda cyclone, right? At that time, most of the IT companies, they lost their servers. They went out of business because of their server IT resources were damaged by the cyclone, because they, whatever work they have done, were not able to be recovered because of the problem of on premises. Since the water level was raised, it has reached to all the IT resources and the devices were damaged. So these are the problem with on premises computing. I have to make higher payments every time I expand, right? And obviously the devices which I am purchasing is going to occupy a space, right? And I have to appoint a maintenance team for maintaining the devices. Data security is a questionable point, and data recovery is also very less. If suppose, on the contrary, right, cloud computing, right? I was saying, so it's like service on demand. Whatever I want, whatever IT resources I want, I simply have to request the cloud service. They will provide me the requested services. I am gonna pay them as long as I use them, right? So say pay. So the cloud computing concept came with the idea of pay for what you use, right? If you use more, you pay more. If you use less, if you are not using the IT resources, if you are using the IT resources less, they will charge you less. Quite simple. It's like buying petrol. If you want more petrol, you have to buy, you have to pay more money. Whereas if you don't want, uh, if you want only less petrol, you have to pay lesser amount. So the same scenario. And since I'm not going to keep any IT resources, physical form of IT resources in my company, I'm having a better space utilization. Here you can see better. So no server space, since my server is going to be maintained by the cloud service, right? So this I can have a better office space, right? And obviously, since I'm not maintaining any physical hardware IT resources in my company, I don't have to appoint maintenance peoples, right? And better data recovery, right? Better data security. I will come to this point in a couple of minutes later. Better data security. I will give you reasons in a couple of minutes later. And obviously, the last point, data recovery. Since I'm not going to maintain any IT resources in my office, even if it is demolished, if the entire building got demolished also, I can still run my business because all my IT resources are in cloud, right? So this is a variation, difference, clear cut differentiation between on premises computing and cloud computing. Hope you are clear, right? Right. And so other benefits, flexibility, updates every time. I in on premises I have to updates. Some of the softwares will not provide you uh, updates. Less collaboration, right? Right, because in premises, on premises, if suppose I'm appointing a manager and I'm giving him a computer, right? If he's on leave, his computer will be ideal for that day. It's not going to be used by anyone, right? So similarly, uh, based upon the people availability, the resources are used. If the people availability is less, the resources are going to be ideal, and the data cannot be accessed remotely. That is another point. Previously, in 10-50 years back, if the people will carry the data in pen drives or storage devices, right? So the company will develop a product. They will design a product, and they will, if suppose they want to demonstrate the application, or they want to install it in the client side, then they will copy all the data in a storage device. They will take it and they will install it, right? But that's the other problem. For when it comes to accessing the data remotely, it is not possible, right? And it takes longer time for implementation because of all these problems. But now, If I move to cloud, I'm having a better flexibility. I can increase my business. If I can increase my IT resources if my business is more, and also I can reduce my IT resources if my business is down, right? And automatically cloud, if I am getting the services from cloud, cloud will take care of all the updations, right? If I'm using, if I'm requesting for a particular software, right, and it will it the cloud service will take care of the updations, right? And the team collaboration, widespread location, as I was saying, since we can, all the work projects carried out is stored in some online location. I can access from remotely. Not only one person, all the employees who are in different location or different parts of the world can also access, right? Data can be accessed, shared anywhere over the internet. I simply need a computer or a laptop, and with high speed, with a internet connection, a proper internet connection, and implementation is much faster. So based on the discussion we had, it is clearly visible that cloud computing is the one which most of the modern day business people choose, right? Now, sir, you can ask me, what is really a cloud, sir? இப்போ நீங்க சொல்றீங்க, நீங்க யூ ஆர் சேயிங், நீங்க வந்து எல்லாமே கிளவுட் பார்த்துக்கோ, எல்லாமே கிளவுட் பார்த்துக்கோ. நீங்க கிளவுட் கிட்ட கேட்டா நீங்க கிளவுட் கிட்ட ரெக்வஸ்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா கிளவுட் உங்களுக்கு ப்ரொவைட் பண்ண சொல்றீங்க. ஸோ கிளவுட் என்ன சார்? வாட் இஸ் பேசிக்லி a cloud? A cloud is a environment which will have uh, uh, what to say, which is capable of providing any level of IT resources. Cloud is an environment which is capable of providing any level of IT resources requested by a client. You may be still confused, right? I can understand that. Just a couple of minutes. I think I'm not sure it's required or not. This is the why we need to go for cloud computing, because previously we were storing the data, right, in the storage devices for implementing them, or for moving one location to the other location. But now I can store all my files in a cloud server, and I can retrieve them instantly via internet. So the terminology cloud computing is a delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis, right? So cloud computing is an environment that delivers IT resources. IT resources என்னன்றதை நம்ம கொஞ்ச நேரத்துல பார்ப்போம், right? You just stay on stay connected and I'll let you know, right? So it's an environment that provides you all IT resources in online, and you have to pay. It's a pay as you go basis, right? Pay on demand, right? On demand services சொல்லுவாங்க. எனக்கு தேவைப்பட்டுச்சு, நான் யூஸ் பண்ணேன். எனக்கு தேவைப்படலை, நான் வேணாம்னு சொல்லிட்டேன், அவ்வளோதான். நான் ஒரு தடவை வாங்கிட்டேன்றதுக்காக நான் வந்து கடைசி ஐ டோன்ட் ஹாவ் டு பே even if I don't need it. If I don't need it anymore, I'd simply stop paying. Automatically that resources will be cut off, right? Now comes the bigger question: how do I create a cloud, right? நீங்க அந்த cloud environment என்னன்னு புரிஞ்சிட்டீங்க. Still someone is joining. Unusual person. See, I have been telling you, use your official ID. It will reduce unnecessary nuisance. If you are joining by your official ID, I don't have to click every time admit. நான் நீங்க அஃபிஷியல் ஐடியில் வந்தீங்கன்னா நான் ஒரு தடவை உங்களுக்கு அட்மிட் கொடுக்கணும்னு அவசியம் கிடையாது. என்னுடைய கிளாஸும் டைம் வேஸ்ட் ஆகாது. I think I have jumped to some of the slides. Okay. So I will explain you how a cloud is created, right? And couple of minutes later, and we'll see other relevant points of it, right? One second. Right, so as I was saying, cloud is an environment that provides you IT resources in online, right? I'm able to access. So you that IT cloud is an online environment that provides you, that let you access IT resources on demand. இவ்வளவுதான். ஸோ இட்ஸ் ஸோ அதில் இப்போ cloud எப்படி சார் ஃபார்ம் ஆகுது அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா, it's quite simple, but you have to think in a business perspective, right? It's like people who have got more money, right? They can generate revenue out of it. உங்களுக்கு நான் சிம்பிளாக புரிய வைக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் எடுத்துக்கிறேன். ப்ராப்ளம் அந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் வச்சு நீங்கள் புரிஞ்சுக்குவீங்க. Assume I am a very rich person, and I have purchased a costly car, right? I have invested a lot of money in it, right? And after purchasing this car, I was using this car only for attending major celebrations like marriage functions or any other family related functions. I will use my cars. The remaining time, that costly car is going to remain ideal in my home, right? On one fine day, I just came up with the idea that whenever my car is ideal, I can let someone to use it on a rental basis. என்கிட்ட ஒரு காஸ்ட்லி கார் இருக்கு, எனக்கு தேவையான whenever I need it, I'm going to use it. பட் நான் யூஸ் பண்ணாத நேரத்தில் அந்த காரை என் வீட்டில் சும்மா வச்சிருக்கிறதுக்கு I'm going to rent it. யாருக்கு என்னோட கார் காஸ்ட்லி காரில் ட்ராவல் பண்ணுமோ I'm going to rent it. And as long as the utilization, the car utilization is effective, and I will get revenue out of it. இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் நீங்கள் இது எங்கே மேப் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, you just think about the major IT giants, right? Google, Microsoft, right? Major IT giants, right? Initially, when these people started their business, right, they also purchased these hardware components, right? In the physical on-premises concept, அவங்களும் தான் பயன்படுத்தினாங்க, right? But as their customers started growing, they also purchased more and more IT resources, right? அவங்களும் ஒரு காலத்துல IT resources நிறையவே வாங்கிட்டாங்க. நீங்க you can see in Google the data storage space. I don't know what happened to these people. They are not joining very late and they are disturbing my class. Okay, so as I was saying, when major IT giants, they started their business and gradually they expanded, they also started purchasing or they also started acquiring more physical IT resources, right? இப்போ இந்த காஸ்ட்லி காரையும் நம்ம அந்த மேஜர் ஐடி ஜெயின்ஸோடைய ஐடி ரிசோர்ஸையும் நம்ம எடுத்துக்குவோம். இப்போ if you see their Google or Microsoft, whatever the company it is, major IT giant it is, their IT resources are not going to be utilized all the time. 24/7 அவங்க IT resources யூஸ் ஆகாது. So what they started doing is that since they have more IT resources, large amount of IT resources than anyone in this world, they started renting their IT resources online. This is the idea. In the cloud computing main reason இதுதான், right? Major IT giants, they were managing large IT resources in their company, which they thought why not we rent them and why not we gain money out of it. என்னோட காஸ்ட்லி கார் வச்சுட்டு நான் என்னோட பிஸ்னஸ்க்கு யூஸ் பண்ணுற டைம் போக மற்ற நேரத்தில் அந்த ஐடி ரிசோர்ஸ் எனக்கு ப்ராஃபிட் கிடையாது இல்லையா. ஸோ ஐ ரெண்ட் இட் அண்ட் ஐ எம் கெய்னிங் மணி அவுட் ஆஃப் இட். even you can also start your own cloud service company if you think you can purchase storage space, I mean IT resources like server, data storage racks, இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஸ்பேசஸ் நம்ம கூகுளோட அதிகமாக நம்ம ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஸ்பேஸ் ப்ரொவைட் பண்ண முடியும்னா we can run our own cloud service company, right? அப்போ cloudன்றது என்ன சார்? பேசிக்கலா we are using the concept of virtual machines. virtual computing தான் it is the basic for cloud computing. இது நீங்க நம்ம சப்ஜெக்ட்ல இது கிடையாது, இந்த கான்செப்ட் கிடையாது. the original concept is virtual machine concept தான் cloud computing உடைய basic. I think you might have already used this scenario where you will be using same two different operating system in a same computer. நீங்க ஒரே கம்ப்யூட்டர்ல லினக்ஸும் யூஸ் பண்ணிருப்பீங்க, சாரி even inside windows operating system using VMware. நீங்க VMwareலாம் யூஸ் பண்ணி different operating system ட்ரை பண்ணிருப்பீங்க இல்லையா. XPல VMware இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணி different operating system இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணி நீங்க ஒர்க் பண்ணிருப்பீங்க ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ்லாம். சேம் கான்செப்ட், we are using virtualization concept, right? ரிசோர்ஸ் ஏற்கனவே இருக்கிற ரிசோர்ஸஸை வேற ஒரு டைமென்ஷன்ல வேற ஒரு பர்பஸ்க்கு நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்றோம் வித்தவுட் அஃபெக்டிங் தி ரெகுலர் யூசேஜ் அஃபெக்ட் பண்ணாம we are creating virtual instances, and through the virtual instances we are able to run or fulfill the customer requirement. ஸோ ஐடி ஜெயின்ஸ்லாம் வந்து அவங்க கிட்ட நிறையவே ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஐடி ரிசோர்ஸஸ் இருக்கு. அவங்களோட ரெகுலர் பிஸ்னஸ் போக மிச்ச ஐடி ரிசோர்ஸஸை அவங்க இந்த மாதிரி ரெண்ட்டுக்கு விட்டு they are improving their business. So this is again the fundamental. அதனால கிளவுட்னு வந்துச்சுனாவே ஆன் டிமாண்ட் சர்வீஸ், பே ஆஸ் யூ கோ, இந்த ரெண்டு வார்த்தை வந்து ஃப்ரீக்வெண்டா யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. Hope you are clear. And if you have any confusions, please let me know. If you want any clarifications, I'm ready to explain you, because this forms the foundation for this course. நான் அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் டெக்னிக்கலா போக ஆரம்பிச்சேன்னா உங்களுக்கு இது ஏன் வந்துச்சு, இது எதனால வருதுன்றலாம் உங்களுக்கு புரியாது. ஏன்னா நீங்க இன்னும் நம்ம when I go in detail, whatever story, whatever discussion I was doing so far, I will be referring to that. I will refer to these scenarios which I have been discussing so far, such that you can easily map these ideas, right? So I hope you understood the concept of cloud computing. Cloud computing என்ற கான்செப்ட் ஏன் வந்துச்சுன்றது உங்களுக்கு புரியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So it is a environment where we are able to access. It is an online environment. Actually speaking, cloud is an online environment where we are able to access IT resources, right, on a on-demand basis. எனக்கு தேவை இருக்குன்னா நான் யூஸ் பண்ணி, எனக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நான் ஒரு கம்ப்யூட்டர் யூஸ் பண்ண, ஒரு ப்ராசஸர் யூஸ் பண்றேன், அப்புறம் 2 ப்ராசஸர்னா ஐ கேன் இன்க்ரீஸ். ஆல் தீஸ் ஆர் திங்ஸ் ஆர் கோயிங் டு are possible with cloud computing, right? So I think this one is not required. This one. So these things I have just now discussed. I just want to go straight away with this one. Right. So when it comes to cloud computing, there are 5 characters, 3 delivery models, and 4 deployment models, right? நான் இன்னும் AWS cloudக்கு வரல. இது எல்லாமே ஒரு நார்மல் ஒரு கிளவுட் கம்ப்யூட்டிங் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதோடைய ஃபவுண்டேஷன். இதை வச்சு தான் நம்ம AWS லேர்ன் பண்ண போகிறோம். ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் ப்ரீரெக்வசிட். இன் ஆர்டர் டு லேர்ன் அவர் கோர்ஸ், யூ ஷுட் பி அவேர் அபவுட் ஆல் தீஸ் ஃபண்டமெண்டல்ஸ். ஜஸ்ட் வை ஐ எம் taking time in explaining these things. As I was, there are 5 characters. If I am referring a computing facility, if I am referring a computing facility as a cloud computing, ரைட், என்கிட்ட ஒரு 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 கம்ப்யூட்டிங் ஃபெசிலிட்டி இருக்கு, அந்த கம்ப்யூட்டிங் ஃபெசிலிட்டியை நான் வந்து கிளவுட் கம்ப்யூட்டிங் ஃபெசிலிட்டின்னு சொல்லணும்னா இட் ஷுட் ஃபுல்ஃபில் தீஸ் 5 கேரக்டர்ஸ். அந்த 5 கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக்ஸ் எந்த ஒரு கம்ப்யூட்டிங் ஃபெசிலிட்டி கிட்ட இருக்கோ தட் பிகம்ஸ் ஏ கிளவுட் கம்ப்யூட்டிங். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக்ஸ் என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இட் இஸ் ஏ ஆன் டிமாண்ட் சர்வீஸ், ஆன் டிமாண்ட் செல்ஃப் சர்வீஸ், ரைட். ஸோ தி கஸ்டமர், ஸோ நான் ஆரம்பத்திலே சொன்னேன், இங்கே வந்து எல்லாமே பிஸ்னஸ் தான், right? So assume I am a startup company owner and I want to start a new company and I am not interested in spending large amount in purchasing physical hardwares. So instead of doing that in a smarter way, I'm going to rent the IT resources at lower cost. நான் ஒரு பொருளை காசு கொடுத்து வாங்குறதுக்கும் ரெண்ட் பண்றதுக்குமே நிறைய டிஃபரன்சஸ், I can make much differences financially, right? So through online I have to demand for the services I am in need of. For example, if I need a company which needs 60 computers, or I need a software, for example, for in animation industry, there is a software called Maya software, right? If you are purchasing that software, it may cost you 4 to 3 lakhs, right? It may be used only during the time of designing an animation character, and after that it may not be no longer may be useful for me, right? Or another scenario சொல்றேன், I'm going to give you one more scenario, or assume you want to do a project on quantum computing, right? Quantum computing kind of machine India எங்கேயுமே கிடையாது, but you want to do. If you want to purchase a quantum computing, we may have to invest our lifelong earning. நம்ம சொத்தே அடமானம் வச்சா கூட நம்மளால குவாண்டம் கம்ப்யூட்டிங் ஃபெசிலிட்டி நம்மனால இப்போதைக்கு அக்வயர் பண்ண முடியாது. பட் த்ரூ திஸ் கான்செப்ட் ஆஃப் கிளவுட் கம்ப்யூட்டிங் I can, but for the big IT giants like Google, Amazons, they have such a enormous IT resources in their custody, which they are ready to rent it for you. So we simply have to, through the online, we simply have to make a request. So I need a quantum computing facility. So and you can make a request, I'm going to use this quantum computing facility for 1 month project work, right? So they're going to charge you for accessing, not for buying, for accessing their software, right? Or the computing facility for 1 month in a nominal way. By this way, the customer is able to save money, and you don't have to struggle in maintaining all those resources. So that is why, if there is I use whenever I need, I request them, because it's a self service. I have to approach and I have to demand, right? Major IT giants, right? யாரெல்லாம் cloud கொடுக்குறாங்கன்றது நான் உங்களுக்கு இன்னும் couple of minutes list out காமிக்கிறேன். We simply have to approach those IT giants, right? The cloud computing services, the companies, the cloud computing companies, right? Through online, we make a request, we have to pay, and they will provide their resources. So once that period or once that resources has been utilized, the bond will be terminated. Quite simple. And for doing this activity, I need a broadband network access. Here everything is involved, all the computation, all the IT resources are being utilized only via internet. So obviously I need a broad network access, right? And resource pooling, right? This other benefit is that resource pooling and rapid elasticity. Rapid elasticity, if I need more, cloud should be able to provide more. The cloud service should be able to provide more. And if I want to reduce, it should be able to reduce, right? We'll see examples of this. And metered service, உங்களுக்கு இதுல cloudல அடிக்கடி அந்த வார்த்தை யூஸ் பண்ணுவேன். Cloud is a metered service, like how you are consuming your EB. உங்க வீட்ல கரண்ட் யூஸ் பண்றீங்க இல்லையா, அதை எப்படி சார்ஜ் பண்றாங்க, உங்களுக்கு அந்த வீட்டு கனெக்ஷன் EB கனெக்ஷன்ல மீட்டர் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அந்த மீட்டருடைய ரீடிங் ஏற்ற மாதிரி சார்ஜ் வருது இல்லையா, சேம் மேனர் cloud will also charge based upon they will monitor your service. They will monitor how much you are using the service and they will charge you accordingly, right? And there are 3 delivery modes. Actually the delivery modes கிடையாது, services. Delivery modes கிடையாது, services. So there are 3 services that you can access, right? நீங்க அந்த 3 சர்வீசஸ் மேஜர் சர்வீசஸ் சொல்லுவாங்க. இதுக்கு நிறைய மைனர் சர்வீசஸ் வருது, பட் மேஜரா அந்த எல்லாமே வந்து இந்த 3 கேட்டகரியில கொண்டு வந்துடலாம். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன் IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Next one PaaS, platform as a service. Next one software as a service. So infrastructure, platform and software. So நான் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர்னா அஸ்யூமிங் நான் வந்து இப்போ நான் சொன்னலையா இந்த குவாண்டம் கம்ப்யூட்டிங், ரைட்? இட் இஸ் ஏ இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர். அதில் இத்தனை ப்ராசஸர், இத்தனை ரேமு, இத்தனை ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஸ்பேஸ் இதெல்லாம் சொல்கிறாங்க இல்லையா. ஸோ தட் இஸ் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ஆஸ் அ சர்வீஸ். ஸோ த்ரூ தி கான்செப்ட் ஆஃப் கிளவுட் யூ கேன் யூஸ் தி இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ஸ் via ஆன்லைன் மூலமா நீங்க இந்த இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ன்ற ஐடி ரிசோர்சஸை நீங்க பயன்படுத்திக்கலாம். செகண்ட் ஒன் பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் ஆஸ் அ சர்வீஸ். During my discussion I have told some company might have started their project initially please join on time or at least join using official ID. It will not disturb the class. Okay, so as I was saying, the first one infrastructure as a service, second one platform as a service. So for that only I was saying, if suppose I initially started my business using developing my projects using Windows platform, but later I want to migrate, I want to use Linux platform, right? In that case I don't have to purchase the platform again. I simply can rent it, right? So this is that by that way, instead of installing Linux in all the computers in my company, I can simply rent a Linux platform and I can try it using the cloud computing in online, right? Second, software as a service, right? This is the best example you can see is that these days, even if your computer is not installed with MS Office, right, you can connect via cloud and you can use, you are able to access your Microsoft products, because Microsoft is allowing you using the concept of software as service. Even if you are not installed Microsoft Office or some other applications in your computer, using this concept of software as a service, you can access the document, right? Some applications may be a PDF reader or some other applications, right? Even if you don't have that specific software installed in your computer, using this software as a service, you can able to access any document regardless of the software, whether it is available in your computer or not. Even if it is not available in your computer, you can still access it. That's the software as a service. And this is the deployment mode. Basically talks about how we are going to access these three services. So your cloud environment will provide you all its functionalities in these three form. So the way in which I access these three services is depends on the type of the deployment mode. I can access these three services in any one of these four concepts. We'll talk about this with an example in a minute. I think pretty much we have covered all these things. On-demand services, network, resource pooling. So this is how you are pretty much your traditional storage spaces. நீங்க அந்த கூகுள் நெட்ல நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா கூகுள் டேட்டா சென்டர்ஸ் போட்டு பாருங்க. யூ கேன் சி இமேஜஸ் லைக் திஸ். தே ஆர் ரன்னிங் ஏக்கர்ஸ் அண்ட் ஏக்கர்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஸ்பேசஸ். அண்டர் கிரவுண்ட்ல கூகுள் வந்து அண்டர் கிரவுண்ட்ல ஏக்கர்ஸ் அண்ட் ஏக்கர்ஸ் ஆஃப் லேண்ட்ல தே ஆர் மெயின்டைனிங் திஸ் ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஸ்பேசஸ். எல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா எல்லாமே நம்ம இந்த ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஸ்பேசஸ்க்கு யூஸ் பண்ணுற ரேக்ஸ் உள்ள எல்லாமே ஸ்டோரேஜ் ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் எல்லாமே உள்ள இருக்கு. ஸோ இதனால பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் தீஸ் ரீசன்ஸ் ஒன்லி ஐடி ஜெயண்ட்ஸ் தே ஆர் ரெண்டிங் யூ சச் தட் it is utilized at the same time they are improving their business. It is a mutual benefit. People who are just starting up, who don't have sufficient investment, can also run a business because they are able to rent these IT resources from a big IT giants. So it's a business, mutual business from both the ends. I think this is what we have discussed so far. On demand we have discussed. So as long as I use them, I pay them. So broad network access anytime, any location, because I am all my resources are at a centralized location, right? From any location I can access the IT resources. Resource pooling is a scalable and multi-users point of view. So when normally in a company environment we have multiple users, right? But in a traditional environment we may not be a single person may be accessing a single IT resources, which is at sometimes which is not beneficiary for the companies. So if I have let's say if I have a printer and if I am using only it for 2 hours every day, the remaining hours it can be utilized by other employees in the company. So by this way your the resources pooling, the resources are properly utilized by all the people inside the company, right? Elasticity means I can increase my IT resources or I can decrease my IT resources based on my business requirement. Measured resources means metered. I think here you can see the example, the electricity meter. Based on how much I am consuming, it is going to charge me according. So the same scenario is applicable for cloud computing facilities, right? And this just now we have discussed about these scenarios: IaaS, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. I'm just giving you glimpse of what is a cloud computing, right? And now let us discuss about how we can make use of these services using this concept of deployment models. So there are a cloud computing will have two major parts. One is service model, deployment model. Under service model only we are able to access all the facilities under these three service models. நீங்க கிளவுட்ல நிறைய விஷயங்கள் பண்ணலாம். அது எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் all of them can be grouped. All of them can be grouped under these three categories, right? So that is called service models, right? But அந்த resources and the services நான் எப்படி யூட்டிலைஸ் பண்றேன், how I'm going to utilize these services is based on this concept: public, private, and hybrid. So we'll see this deployment model now. Actually initially there were 3, but now they started coming up with a one more version called hybrid. So community. So we have public cloud, hybrid cloud, and private cloud. Now the recent one is community cloud. So if you want to understand how this cloud facility can be utilized in these different manners, right? I will explain you with an example now. The best way, if you want to understand, just give me a couple of minutes. Just take, I just need to drink some water. Just give me a couple of minutes. Okay. So in next half an hour, I will cover up all the fundamentals. Today we'll have a hands-on session, but in order to make you understand, to be more comfortable with during the hands-on session, I'm just rushing through the fundamentals. If you have any clarifications at any point of time, you just raise a point, clarify it. Right. So, so assume a citizen wants to make use of transport service, right? He is in need of a transport service. This transport service he can avail in three different modes. One, he can buy a new car, right? And he can utilize it. What's the point of what's the benefit and drawback of this one? All the resources is only meant for him, right? Everything, even every nut and bolt in that car belongs to him, right? He use it comfortably at his own time, own phase, right? அவர் தேவையான நேரத்தில் தேவையான இடத்துல எப்படின்னா at any rate speed, at any speed he want, he can drive this car at any speed he want, right? Even if there is any even you don't have to bother about uh, the timing, right? He's least bothered about the timing. He can use it as the as I said, timing, location, none of that matters. What's the drawback? If suppose the car met with an accident, right? The owner has to spend every penny of it, right? அவர் தான் ஃபுல்லாக அதுக்கு மெயின்டெனன்ஸ்லாம் பார்த்தாகணும். Full maintenance amount the owner has to spend, right? High comfort, but managing it comes with a cost. Taxi வந்து comparing to a own car, it is uh, I cannot own it long time, and as long as the drive is there, நீங்க அந்த டாக்ஸி ஹையர் பண்ணும்போது அந்த டிராவலிங் டைம்ல தான் நீங்க ஓனர். அந்த டிராவலிங் முடிஞ்சு போச்சுன்னா you are no longer the owner of the car, you no longer claim the car. And the duration, right? Now you can understand the time duration, the power of time duration. As long as you are within the time period, the duration you are traveling time la mattum neenga and காருக்கு ஒரு ஓனர் மாதிரி இருக்கலாம். And also the next one, speed. taxi drivers will not drive the car at any desired the speed desired by the customer. He will have a fixed speed. He will not go be above that speed, right? So again, less comfort, right? Less speed. So based upon the customer requirement, எனக்கு வந்து நான் I want and again amount spent, நீங்க amount spend பண்ணீங்கன்னா comparing to maintaining or buying a own car, here if I travel in a car for 2 hours, I'm going to spend only 2000 or something. So based upon your availability, how much you can pay, உன்னால எந்த அளவுக்கு பே பண்ண முடியுமோ அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி உனக்கு டெடிகேட்டடான ஐடி ரிசோர்சஸ் கிடைக்கலாம். இல்லைனா IT resources with some constraints. IT resources with some constraint can also be available, can also be utilized. Third category, public transport. Public transport and bus stop எங்க இருக்கோ, you have to go there. Only from there you can catch a bus, right? And it will stop at a designated stopping. நீ சொன்ன நேரத்துல நிக்காது, right? You can utilize the resources only when it comes. அதோட டைம் அதுக்கு என்ன டைம் வருமோ அந்த டைமுக்கு தான் அந்த வண்டி வரும். அந்த வண்டி வர வரல you have to wait, right? And so இது எல்லாமே ப்ராப்ளம். ஆனா இப்போ பெனிஃபிட் என்ன? அமௌண்ட், டிராவலிங் டைம் அதிகமாகும். எல்லா ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்தாலும் காஸ்ட் இஸ் சீப்பஸ்ட், right? So now you can see if a citizen wants to make use of a transport service, he can use 3 different methodology. One, buying a own car. So benefits adல இருக்கு, drawbacks இருக்கு. Similarly, a taxi and a bus. You simply apply these scenarios into these 3 models, right? Now own car, நான் சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, points, whatever points I have discussed about buying a own car can be mapped to a private cloud, right? So I think the word itself speaks out. Everything is private. Every resources is fully dedicated for a single owner, right? So you will have speed, you can access them anytime. நீங்க இப்ப இந்த நெட்ஃபிளிக்ஸ் மூவிஸ்லாம் பாக்குறீங்க இல்லையா, ஆன்லைன் மூவிஸ்லாம் யூசிங் அமேசான் ஹாட்ஸ்டார், அது எல்லாமே இந்த பேசிஸ்ல தான் உங்களுக்கு ரிசோர்சஸ் ப்ரொவைட் பண்றாங்க. யூ கேன் ஆக்சஸ் தி மூவிஸ் எனி டைம் யூ வாண்ட், ரைட்? ஸோ ஃபார் தெர் ஆர் சம் thresholds, there are some framework, right? Similarly, so buying a own car is like a running a private cloud. So fully dedicated lines, full resources are under your disposal, right? But this one, second one, right? Bus is like a public, right? Public cloud. நீ அந்த குறிப்பிட்ட டைம் லிமிட்ல தான் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும், குறிப்பிட்ட லொகேஷன் தான் போய் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியும். இந்த மாதிரி கன்ஸ்ட்ரெயின்ட்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கு. You cannot, but it is the cheapest one, right? Public cloud is the cheapest one, but it will have its own points, right? Constraints. And hybrid is like a taxi. It is more luxury car, or buying a car, right? It's a more luxurious one. The second one is the taxi. It is a middle class. It's kind of a middle class kind of a thing, and it's kind of a below middle class, right? So a hybrid will have both these characteristics, a private and a public cloud, right? There is one category called community, right? I will discuss in a couple of minutes later. So we'll see from a technical point of view. So cloud, a public cloud, right? A public cloud is like a bus transport service. It is accessible to everyone, right? So what are the points? I pay only for the resources that I use. I pay for how long it, so it's like a bus. So for a particular duration, for a particular period. I am using it and I'm paying only for that. It's the cheapest one. The second one, so uh, the cloud infrastructure is made available to general public over the internet and it is owned by the cloud provider. Right, so these are the cloud providers. As I was saying now, IT giants. So AWS, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft company's cloud service is called Azure, right? And IBM's cloud service is called Blue Cloud and Sun Cloud, right? So these are all the cloud services provided by third party, right? It is not a company that is formatted by us. So these are companies which is already available that provides cloud services. They are the IT giants, right? So they have initially, right from the origin of their company, they have been acquiring more IT resources. So now they are renting it for money. ஸோ அதர் தேன் தேர் யூசேஜ், அவங்களோட தேவைகள் போக மற்ற ரிசோர்ஸஸ் ஐடியலாக இருக்கக்கூடாதுன்றதுக்காக தே ஆர் ரெண்டிங் இட் ஃபார் ரிசோர்ஸஸ் விச் பெனிஃபிட்ஸ் தி நியூ மார்க்கெட் பிஸ்னஸ் பீப்புள். புதுசாக வர பிஸ்னஸ் பீப்புள் நீங்கள் யூ டோன்ட் ஹாவ் டு ஸ்பெண்ட் ஆன் மணி, ரைட்? யூ சிம்பிளி ஹாவ் டு கனெக்ட், ரெக்வஸ்ட் தம் ஆன்லைன் அண்ட் தே ஆர் ப்ரொவைடிங் ஆல் தி ரிசோர்ஸஸ் ஆன்லைன். இப்போ இந்த ரிசோர்ஸஸை எப்படி யூட்டிலைஸ் பண்ணுறோன்றது வரும்போது தான் நம்மளுடைய ஹேண்ட்ஸ் ஆன் செஷன் வரும், right? And third one, private cloud. Private cloud is like buying your own car, right? So I have to pay more money, right? But in a benefit, I can use them anytime I want. I can at any speed I want, it is possible. And third one, so private cloud, again it is provided by AWS. So these are the companies that provides this. So if you want to avail public cloud, you can approach these companies, AWS, right? Those 4 companies are there. And if I want private cloud, right, these are the companies that provides private cloud, AWS, VMware, right? And the next one, so உங்களுடைய அந்த பிரைவேட் cloudல போகும்போது உங்களுக்கு செக்யூரிட்டி ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ல நிறைய பெனிஃபிட்ஸ் கிடைக்கும், பிகாஸ் மோர் கஸ்டமைஸ்ட். நீங்கள் அந்த டன்னலிங் கான்செப்ட்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க, சாக்கெட் கனெக்ஷன், அது எல்லாமே நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு நார்மல் ஐடி ரிசோர்ஸில் போனீங்கன்னா அதுக்கு எல்லாமே அதிகமான நீங்கள் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருக்கும். பட் இஃப் யூ கோ ஃபார் ப்ரைவேட் கிளவுட், ஆல் திஸ் ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் வில் பி டேக்கன் கேர் பை தி கிளவுட் சர்வீஸ் ப்ரொவைடர். அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி பில் யூ வில் கெட் தி அமௌண்ட் அக்கார்டிங்லி டு தட். பில்லிங் அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி தான் வரும். ஸோ அதிகமாக நீங்கள் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா அதிகமான same resources, but it comes with additional features. And the third one, hybrid. So hybrid is like running a taxi. So it will have a moderate of both the public and private cloud, right? So for example, here they have given an example. Federal agencies opt to for private clouds when the sensitive information is involved. Also, they can use public cloud to share database with the general public otherwise. So you can see in what way. So based upon your usage, நம்ம அந்த ஐடி ரிசோர்ஸை எப்படி பயன்படுத்த போறோமோ அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி we can go for appropriate utilization, appropriate deployment model. And the community model here is, so it's availing the resources for a specific group of people. Only a specific group of people are allowed, even within the organization, within the company, right? It comes with the constraint policies, right? And the firewall restrictions சொல்றாங்க இல்லையா, நம்ம ஃபயர்வால்ல சில அட்ஜஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் அப்ளிகேஷனையோ இல்லை ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் இது ரிசோர்ஸஸை மட்டுமே நம்மளால பயன்படுத்த முடியும் இல்லையா, த சேம் மேனர். ஸோ ஒன்லி அ ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் குரூப் ஆஃப் யூசர்ஸ் ஆர் அலவுட் டு ஆக்சஸ் தி ஐடி ரிசோர்ஸஸ். ஸோ இட்ஸ் shared because even inside a large organization, inside a large company, I might want a specific group of people to access certain resources, which is possible only because by this community cloud, right? So I don't want to spend much of time on this one. So I think we have cleared, we are aware about this one. Service models. So three service models: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So from development, application development perspective, these are all the stages where it will be meant. So if we, in the IT company, IaaS, right, will be more useful for IT architects, right? They don't have to uh, bother about the IT resources. They simply can hire it from the cloud service providers. Second, PaaS, platform as a service. It is more useful for the developers, application developers. They don't have to purchase software. They don't have to purchase updates, platform, anything like that. They simply hire it. Next one, last one, SaaS, right? So the customers who are going to make use of the application can don't have to install any software. They can use this concept of SaaS to make use of the to access the applications, right? So there's a big question. So which cloud service is suitable for you? It depends on your business requirement. நீங்க ஒரு பிஸ்னஸ் பண்ண போறீங்க, உங்க பிஸ்னஸ்ல வந்து நீங்க அதிகமா பீப்புளுக்கு பப்ளிக் ஜென்ரல் பப்ளிக் நீங்க ஆக்சஸ் பண்றீங்க. ஸோ யூ கேன் டெப்ளாய் எ பப்ளிக் மாடல். உங்க அப்ளிகேஷனை அந்த பப்ளிக் கிளவுட்ல போட்டுட்டீங்கன்னா எனி பப்ளிக் பீப்புள் கேன் ஆக்சஸ் இட். ஸோ ஸோ யாஸ் ஸோ வாட் டைப் of people can access infrastructure as a service is given here. If your business needs a virtual machine, opt for infrastructure as a service. So based upon your company's requirement, your business requirement, we can opt different services, right? I think infrastructure as a service we have covered. So products and services, here we have given by, I think AWS already stated, Azure stated. So GoGrid is another company that provides IaaS, platform as a service. So these are the companies that provides platform as a service and SaaS. So here I think this exam will be more useful for you, right? So these days uh, all these concepts are possible because of SaaS only, right? You don't have to install any of this app in your hardware. In உங்க கம்ப்யூட்டர்ல இதெல்லாம் எதுவுமே இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணணும் அவசியம் இல்லை. If you have the cloud facility in, right, through the concept of cloud, you can access any document regardless of the software. And the software உங்க கம்ப்யூட்டர்ல இல்லைனாலும் cloud, using the cloud you can access any document. That's the concept of SaaS, right? I think yeah, this is very important. So from an application development point of view, for on premises everything is maintained by me. நான் தான் நெட்வொர்க்கிங்க்கும் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட் பண்ணி ஆகணும். I have to arrange for storage, I have to arrange for services, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, data, application, everything is taken care by me, right? If it is a infrastructure as a service, then the cloud service provider will take care of these items. They will take care of networking, they will take care of storage, servers, virtualization. You simply have to create, you have to install operating system, middlewares, runtime, data and applications. So this is the limit you can do. ஒரு இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ஆஸ் அ சர்வீஸ்னு போனீங்கன்னா இந்த ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் மட்டும்தான் உங்களுக்கு கொடுப்பாங்க. இந்த கிளவுட் சர்வீஸ் வந்து இந்த ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் மட்டும்தான் உங்களுக்கு கொடுப்பாங்க. If you are going for platform as a service, they will also include apart from these functionalities, they will also include operating system, middleware, compilers, runtimes, அதெல்லாமே இதில் கவர் ஆகிடும். நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணணும், சிம்பிளாக நீங்கள் உங்களுடைய டேட்டாவை மட்டும் போட்டு அப்ளிகேஷன் டெவலப் பண்ணிக்க வேண்டியது தான். உங்கள் டேட்டாவை ஸ்டோர் பண்ணிவிட்டு யூ சிம்பிளி கேன் டெவலப் தி அப்ளிகேஷன். If it is the last case, software as a service, so this network, the cloud service provider will provide you everything. எல்லாமே அவங்களே கொடுத்துருவாங்க, நீங்கள் போய் ஜஸ்ட் அதை யூஸ் பண்ணால் மட்டும் போதும். எவ்ரிதிங் இஸ் தேர் அவைலபிள் இன் யுவர் cloud. நீங்கள் போய் cloud மட்டும் cloud ஓப்பன் பண்ணி நீங்கள் ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டு வந்துட வேண்டியது தான். ரைட்? உங்களுக்கு if you still not comfortable about this, I'll give you one simple example. With that, I think we'll wind off normal cloud computing concept. I think I think pretty much உங்களுக்கு இப்போ cloud computing என்னன்றது புரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So with this example, I will wind off normal cloud. I will move on to the AWS cloud after a small break, but stay online until I finish this example. Right? If suppose I want to what to say, bake a cake. நான் ஒரு கேக் வந்து தயார் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா, if it is on premises, right, on premises model, if I'm following the on premises idea, then I have to take care of everything. I have to buy eggs, I have to buy butter, sugar, flour, cake pan, எல்லாமே நான் தான் அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணிக்கணும். ரைட்? இது எல்லாமே நான் தான் அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணி, டைனிங் டேபிள், வாட்டர், எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி எல்லாமே நான் தான் அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணணும். அப்போ தான் என்னால் அந்த கேக்கை தயார் பண்ண முடியும். இதுவே நீங்கள் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ஆஸ் அ சர்வீஸ் நீங்கள் அவைல் பண்ணுறீங்க அப்படின்னா, ஒரு பாதியை நீங்கள் வந்து வாங்கிடுவீங்க, மற்றதை நீங்கள் தயார் பண்ணிக்குவீங்க வீட்டில். என்னென்ன கொடுத்துருவாங்க, தே வில் ப்ரொவைட் யூ, ரைட்? தி கிளவுட் சர்வீஸ் வில் ப்ரொவைட் யூ எக்கு, பட்டர், சுகர், ஃப்ளோர். நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணணும், யூ ஹாவ் டு மேக் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட்ஸ் ஃபார் கேக் பேன், ஓவன், எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி, வாட்டர் அண்ட் டைனிங் டேபிள். ஸோ அண்டர் தி கான்செப்ட் ஆஃப் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ஆஸ் அ சர்வீஸ், தே வில் ப்ரொவைட் ஆல் திஸ் திங்ஸ். ஒரு கேக் தயார் பண்ணுறதுக்கு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்கிறேன். ரைட்? நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன், பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் ஆஸ் அ சர்வீஸ். ஸோ நீங்கள் அந்த கேக்கை தயார் பண்ணுறதுக்கு தேவையான பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் என்னது? அந்த கேக் பேன், ஓவன், மைக்ரோ ஓவன், அதுக்கான கரண்ட்டு, everything will be taken care by, in addition with the materials and the stationary items poga, in addition with the infrastructure, they also take care of the platform in which the cake is prepared. அந்த கேக்கை தயார் பண்ணுறதுக்கு தேவையான பிளாட்ஃபார்மும் அதுவே அந்த கிளவுட் கம்ப்யூட்டிங் சர்வீஸை ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. யூ சிம்பிளி ஹாவ் டு மேக் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட்ஸ் ஃபார் டைனிங் டேபிள் அண்ட் வாட்டர். ரைட்? லாஸ்ட் ஒன், சாஃப்ட்வேர் ஆஸ் அ சர்வீஸ். நீங்கள் ஒரு ஹோட்டலுக்கு போயிட்டு கேக் ஆர்டர் பண்ணி நீங்கள் சாப்பிட்றீங்க இல்லையா, த சேம் கான்செப்ட். ஸோ வென் யூ ஆர் ஆர்டரிங் ஃபார் அ கேக், ரைட், they will take care of everything. They will create, they will provide the, they will use the materials, platform, they use water, and they will provide you a cake. அவங்களே இந்த மெட்டீரியல்ஸ்லாம் பயன்படுத்தி கேக்கை தயார் பண்ணி உங்கள் டேபிள் வச்சுருவாங்க. யூ சிம்பிளி போய் டேபிளில் உட்காந்து கேக்கை சாப்பிட்டு வர போகிறீங்க. இவ்வளோ. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் தி பெஸ்ட் வே யூ கேன் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் தி வேரியஸ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் சர்வீஸ் மாடல்ஸ், deployment models. ரைட்? ஸோ சர்வீஸ் மாடல்ஸ். ஸோ சர்வீஸ் மாடல்ஸ் தான் வந்து யாஸ், பாஸ் அண்ட் சாஸ். டெப்ளாய்மெண்ட் மாடல் என்னென்ன பார்த்துருக்கோம்? what are the deployment models that are there for cloud computing? We have public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Community cloud is not yet commercially introduced. That is that. I think pretty much we have discussed the same, and these are all the cloud service providers. These are the cloud service providers. These are many companies that provides cloud services. If any startup company wants to create, right, if they want to, right, start a business, they don't have to purchase the hardware. They simply can approach these companies, cloud service companies, and they will provide all the IT resources through online. Right? So just give me a minute. My laptop is So we'll we'll take a small break, a 10 minutes break. We'll start the session by 7:40, right? So by 7:40, I will give you outline of what is a AWS cloud, and then we'll get into the hands-on part, right? So we'll take a small break for 10 minutes. The session will continue from 7:40. in this session. So we have been discussing about the fundamentals of cloud computing concepts. Right? So I just summarize. So using the base concept is virtualization. We are creating virtual machines. Through this virtual machine concept, we are able to share the IT resources online, and that's how most of the IT giants, they are able to share their IT resources through online using the concept of virtual machines, which can be used by customers. Right, the customers can be like small scale business company peoples, right? So instead of spending huge amount of money on traditional IT resources, the cost is reduced by moving to cloud. So there are here I have listed the major companies that provides a cloud computing facility. So uh, our course, right? Our course focuses on the cloud computing facility provided by one company. The name of the company is Amazon. We used to do shopping, online shopping in Amazon, right? So they are also providing online IT resources for rent using the concept of cloud computing. So this platform, right, this platform through which they are selling their IT resources is what they called as AWS, Amazon Web Services. AWS. So A stands for Amazon, Web, W stands for Web, and Service stands for Web Services. So through this Amazon Web Services, they are able to provide IT resources online for rent. Right. So where it is utilized, right? So it is used for mostly for online, right? So this is what we have been discussing. The traditional, if I use the traditional on premises, it will not be a benefit for me. So if I use the cloud computing, so through the concept of cloud computing, I can increase my resources on demand. If I want more computers, I can increase. And if the business is dull, I can reduce the number of computers I am utilizing through cloud computing. நான் cloud computingல பயன்படுத்தக்கூடிய கம்ப்யூட்டர்ஸ் உடைய கவுண்ட்டை என்னால் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணவும் முடியும், டிக்ரீஸ் பண்ண முடியும். Not just computer alone, any services. There are many services, we'll see one by one. So this is how the growth, right? So initially it was, so the AWS cloud service platform is now used by more than 45% of the global market. Because of this high financial benefit, right? Because of this high financial benefit, almost more 45% or 50% of the global economy started utilizing the concept of cloud. So AWS, Amazon Web Services, is an online platform that provides scalable and cost-effective cloud computing solutions. If any person wants cloud computing services, right, facility, they can approach this Amazon company. So they provide this cloud facilities through the as a web services. ஒரு வெப் சர்வீஸா ப்ரொவைட் பண்றாங்க. அமேசான் வந்து கிளவுட் கம்ப்யூட்டிங் ஃபெசிலிட்டி ஒரு வெப் சர்வீஸா கஸ்டமர்ஸ்க்கு ப்ரொவைட் பண்றாங்க. So AWS is broadly adapted cloud platform that offers several on-demand operations like computing power, storage space, content delivery. These are some of the services, the functionality that is provided by the AWS. Why you have to choose Amazon Web Services? As I was saying, there are many other IT giants as well, right? Out of all those IT giants who are providing the same cloud computing facility, why we have to choose Amazon Web Services? Because they are more experienced in this field, right? So they are more into online business. அவங்க ஆன்லைன் பிஸ்னஸில் ரொம்ப காலமாக இருக்காங்க. ஸோ பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் தட் they were having certain expertise, right? The word is very important, expertise over the online பிஸ்னஸ். ஆன்லைனில் அந்த ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணுறதுல அவங்க எக்ஸ்பர்ட். And also they are since they are their business involves valuable products, they already because Amazon businesses பார்த்தீங்கன்னா we make payments online. So in order to secure the user data, they already started implementing higher security protocols to secure the uh, user credentials that is provided during the business transaction. So obviously they are more experienced, so they can manage online business effectively. Second, they do provide better security because they are already in practice of say online business. And the online payment protection stronger, flexible. They provide, they are more flexible. Whichever point of requirement, whatever type of requirement we put forward, they are ready to provide service. It regardless of OS, language, database, whatever requirement you have, they are to what level, எந்த மாதிரி requirement இருந்தாலும் எந்த லெவலுக்கு இருந்தாலும் they are ready to provide. And easy to access, that's another important feature, easy to access. We can access to mobile, laptops, computers, anytime, security, all these functionalities are there. And most importantly, scalability. This is very important because we are paying money, right, for what we are using. As long as I am getting revenue out of it, the amount I have paid will be worth it, right? If whatever I am paying is not going to generate any revenue, then I should not continue that. I should not utilize that resources, right? So for this purpose only, Amazon provides better scalability options for the customers. So on-demand service. So if they want increase their IT resources, it is possible at an instant. Similarly, if they want to cut down their IT resources, it is also possible at an instance. Everything is just online requirement. You simply have to make a simple request. Based on that, it is done instantly. Right? So reliability, scalability, and flexibility. These are the key features of AWS. So the services, these are all the services. So through, I was saying, IT resources, right? IT resources through cloud computing, they are able to provide these many services. என்னென்ன பாருங்க, 1 2 so 6 12 18 19 services. So through the concept of AWS, a customer can make use of any one of these 19 services. These days நீங்க அந்த GPU ப்ராசஸர்லாம் வேணும்னு சொல்றீங்க, மெஷின் லேர்னிங் மாடல், இன்பில்ட் மாடல் வேணும்னு சொல்றீங்க, right? Some of the customers these days, they don't know nothing about AML, sorry, machine learning models, but they want to deploy, create a project on it. So in that case, they can go for machine learning functionality available through the AWS. Luckily, the fellow has left. Okay. So totally 19 services. So I think we are not going to in our syllabus we are not going to use all 19 services. We are going to use major, right? There are some in your syllabus, they have given some major services from this cloud computing AWS. So we'll be discussing elaborately about computing facility, right, storage facility, and to some extent migrations, right? Security also will also cover our syllabus, and some one, I think one or two additional. right? So during the course, inside the course, we will be covering all these functionalities, because with respect to the kind of business, everything changes, right? So I think I will be sharing this PPT with you. That's not an issue. Okay. So computing facilities. What is a computing facility? So these are all the uh, under computing. I can these are all the services that are provided by the AWS. They are EC2 Elastic Cloud Compute. EC2 means Elastic Cloud Compute. AWS Lambda, Amazon Lightsail, Elastic Beanstalk. These are all the services that takes care of computing services. These are all the computing services. Actually speaking, these are all the computing services provided by the AWS. Your computing service can be EC2, or it can be Lambda, or it can be Lightsail. So computing services means what? You assume you want to develop a project, right? As I was saying, um, that quantum computing. You want to do a project on quantum computing, but you don't have the computing facility. So we request the AWS. They will fulfill your requirement using any one of these computing services. So through this, any one of these, you will be able to access them. Storage space. Storage is another important thing, because these days business, they don't have sufficient uh, they don't have sufficient storage space to keep their customer data. So this is the second major service. So Amazon provides storage space under this category. So so the Amazon storage services are S3 and EBS, Elastic Block Storage. Uh, S3 Glacier, it's a advanced version of the Amazon S3. Amazon S3's advanced version is Glacier, and Elastic File Storage is another mechanism that is provided by AWS for effective storage. Because நீங்க சொல்லலாம், சார் என்னுடைய பிஸ்னஸில் I'm going to host a web page in cloud environment. So this web page will be accessed frequently by my customers. So for this kind of scenario, you provide me appropriate networking facility or appropriate infrastructure facility, right? AWS is ready to provide, because here what's the customer requirement? Fast access. The customer wants to access the public will access the web page frequently, so it will provide appropriate storage mechanism, right? Faster store பண்றதுக்கும் faster retrieve பண்றதுக்கும் storage mechanism it will be provided. There may be cases where I just want to store a page some data in a storage location, and I will only when it is required I may use it, like a warehouse. வேர்ஹவுஸ்ல நம்ம வந்து குடோன்ல வைக்கிறாங்க இல்லையா, எப்போ தேவை இருக்கோ அப்போ தான் எடுப்பாங்க, அது ஃப்ரீக்வெண்ட்டாக யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. So AWS also fulfills this requirement. So in the second category, I don't need a fast access, right? I store once, and the next time only when there is a requirement I will store it again. I will access the file. So அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரியான performance, so you will be charged accordingly. So for first case, charge may be more because they are providing fast access. For second case, charge may be less because the access is less frequent. So all these variations are taken care by these are kind of models, AWS models, which will provide the storage services. Databases, I think we are not going to enter RDS. Probably we will discuss about RDS. And DynamoDB and Redshift are like storage spaces, right? So I will during the course you will be taught about this networking mechanisms. We'll discuss about VPC, virtual private cloud, Route 53, and also very importantly, elastic load balancing. This is very important. We'll learn. I think the second, third hands-on will have the concept on elastic load balancing. And so far we have seen four major parts, right? So computing facility, storage facility, database facility, and networking facility. So we will be focusing more time on all these four services instead of 19. Actually, there were 19 services as I mentioned earlier. We'll be concentrating more time on this, spending more time on these four services. So the other are I think already listed. AWS also provides um, analytic component, so blockchain concept, containers, right, machine learning and IoT, other things. So major companies that is making use of this concept. Here and the Amazon services effective utilize பண்ற companies பார்த்தீங்கன்னா Netflix, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, BBC. So these companies have taken advantage of AWS services and their business is booming. அதனால தான் நீங்க நெட்ஃப்ளிக்ஸ் மூவிஸ் எல்லாமே நீங்க என்ன டைம்ல ஐ திங்க் பே ஆஸ் யூ கோ வேணும்னா படத்தை ரெண்ட் பண்ணி பார்த்துக்கிறீங்க. So these are some of the other companies which are making use of AWS concept. Right. So these are storage. Right. So now we will enter into creation of AWS account. Okay. So whatever concept we have studied is just the theory part. But what we are going to learn now is the practical part. So before that, I will just open the, one second, I will switch from my presentation mode to entire screen. By that way you will also have, you also can see what I'm doing. I think now my computer's screen is shared, entire screen is visible for you. So I think there's no need for this thing anymore. There are a few things, right? Anyway, first I will start with the AWS website. That will give you some better idea. So I'm going to type Google. See, Amazon Web Services, so official site. Right, so here you can see create an AWS account. Right, as I was saying, through this we are making use of the online facility to access IT resources remotely. Right, basically அதான் நம்ம பண்றோம். Cloud computing concept மூலமா, using the concept of cloud computing, we are trying to access IT resources online. Right, so AWS is one such a platform that provides you the concept of cloud computing. So in order to access the IT resources, you have to create an account, right? Now listen carefully. When it comes to creating an account, there are many ways you can create an account. One, you can create an account as a free tier, or you can register yourself as a company, and you can pay. Uh, you can uh, you can go on demand services, right? நீங்கள் அந்த ஆன் டிமாண்ட் கான்செப்டை நீங்கள் அது போகலாம். தெர் ஆர் வேரியேஷன்ஸ். சார் என்ன சார் ஃப்ரீ டயர்ன்றீங்க? ஃப்ரீ டயர்னா தே ஆர் ப்ரொவைடிங் some level of IT resources at free of cost, because since most of the peoples, as I was saying, only 50% of the world economy is accepting cloud computing. Number, so all over the world, only 50% of the global economy is accepting and utilizing the concept of cloud computing. So this company AWS wants to promote its business. Because of that, they are giving some IT resources at free of cost for a limited period of time, right? So on that framework only, they have provided AWS free tier. So you can use certain IT resources, certain at certain volume. ஒரு சில ரிசோர்ஸஸ் இல்லை, ஒரு சில குறிப்பிட்ட ரிசோர்ஸஸை ஒரு குறிப்பிட்ட வால்யூமில் ஒரு குறிப்பிட்ட டியூரேஷனில் for a limited period you can access them at free of cost. Only if you exceed that threshold, you will be charged accordingly, right? Second one, as a business owner, a company owner, right, you may want to you may want a dedicated line or நமக்கு பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, பப்ளிக் ப்ரைவேட்டு இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம் இல்லைங்களா? So based on that, you can create an account, AWS account, and then you can register. Now you understand how the IT resources are being accessed, right? So first one, it's a free tier. Free tier வந்து நம்ம computer, inside our computer account, computer laptop, we used to have guest account, right? In our computer login, we used to have guest account. It is the most restricted one, but we can do some level of activity. So that is like our free tier, AWS free tier. And we used to have admin, limited users and other things. They are like the public private cloud kind of a. So whatever type of person, whatever type of accessibility you are going to do, you have to create. First thing is you have to create an account, because all your requests based upon your account, based upon your user profile, user details, request will be forwarded and appropriate facility will be provided. So this is how you can create a AWS account. So before we see, let us see, for educational purpose, we are going to use free tier only, and that too under MOU our college has with AWS. We are being given a free access account, right, which we'll be discussing in a minute later, right? So under free tier, you can see short-term trial offers starts to you, right? It is valid for 12 months, right? And there are some facilities which is always free. So these are all the services, compute, database, storage that we have discussed already now, right? So these are the limit, threshold. If you are using free tier, you can use the facility for 750 hours. If you are using storage space, you can use a maximum of 5 GB. If you go beyond this limit, right, your free tier will be converted to a normal access and you will be charged accordingly. For all the AWS services, they are given some level of free access. So you can do any activity within that free access. Only if you exceed that limit, you will be charged. right? Now coming to creation of an account, ரைட். ஏன் சார் நீங்க இதெல்லாம் காலேஜ் அக்கௌண்ட்ல பண்றான்னு சொல்லிட்டீங்களே சொன்னீங்களே, பட் ஏதுக்கு நீங்க கிரியேஷன் ஆஃப் அக்கௌண்ட் சொல்றீங்கன்னு கேட்கலாம். There is a reason why I'm telling you. If suppose you are more, you want to learn more into this AWS account and AWS concept, and you want to try it with full-fledged additional functionalities, you can go with free tiers, right? Because being a academic membership, the login, the student account login which we are going to create for AWS account, AWS student account, will not provide you all, will not provide you facility for all these services. இங்க எல்லா சர்வீசஸுமே அன்லிமிட்டடாக யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. தெர் ஆர் சம் லிமிடேஷன்ஸ். அவங்க கொடுத்துருக்க ஃப்ரேம் ஒர்க், we can work only within their framework. So that is their problem.